Brought to you by Mr. Pros TV, streaming from Tempe, Arizona. And we're live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, Jordan Nielsen here, host of Real Estate Pros on Mr. Pros TV, and today I'm in studio with Kaushik Sirkar of Call Realty here in Arizona, and then in California you are On Cue Real Estate. So thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to join me here on Real Estate Pros.
Jordan, thanks for having me. Glad to be here. You guys do killer work, so I'm more than happy to share the stage with you.
Awesome, appreciate it, man. Anyways, for those watching that don't know who you are, we'll give you a couple minutes to introduce yourself. What did you do pre-real estate? You know, what got you interested in doing real estate?
Sure.
And we'll kind of go from there.
You know, originally I'm actually an engineer. I used to work for one of the large tech companies in the Southwest. They will remain unnamed for the moment. And I got my real estate license for my own investment properties. But I had my coworkers. They would tell me, hey, help me buy this, help me sell this. Next thing you know, I had a viable business. And I left that company and started selling real estate full time. This was in 2009. So I've been doing this for a while. 2006 part-time, since 2009 full-time. Right now, I've got a team. We call ourselves, the Sirkar Group. It's my last name, of course, makes sense. It's over 2 brokerages, like you said, Call Realty in Arizona, On Cue Real Estate in California, both owned by my buddy Josh Call. In Arizona, we service pretty much the Phoenix market. We're thinking about expanding to Tucson, but we cover all of the Phoenix metro area, buyers, sellers, property management as well. In California, we do Southern California. So pretty much last year, as far north as Camarillo, as far south as San Diego, Encinitas. We do property management out there as well. We probably sell more units because of the price point here in Arizona.
Sure.
But, as you know, California is a really expensive market.
Right,
I've been bugging you to expand your business out there so I can call you. Those are usually higher priced homes.
Yeah. Awesome. So, so working in kind of 2 separate markets, Arizona, obviously we're pretty close to Southern California.
Yeah.
Do you kind of split your time, or how do you
It's
that?
really kind of on an as-needed basis where I'm needed the most. So the way I try and work the California business, because Southern California is such a massive area, is I have a buyer's agent dedicated to San Diego, another one to Orange County, another one to L.A. And, of course, they can, spread out, shift up, et cetera. If there's an overload of clientele over there, I'll gladly go show some properties over there, especially during the Arizona summertime.
Right.
The same thing applies over here in Arizona. I'll do some of the showings myself. Some of the clients I'll be the buyer's agent for. Sometimes I'll use one of my team members. So it really varies. I'm kind of, when there's a dam, if you can imagine, and there's like a hole in the dam and water's leaking out, I plug those holes.
Right.
Every transaction is always in my name. All the paperwork, negotiations, analysis are always done by me. But, I've got my army of team members that go out and show properties. So I tell my people, don't worry about where I'm at. There's always someone available to show you the home that you need to see.
Right. So did you grow up here in Arizona or California?
I'm from New Jersey.
From New Jersey? What are you doing out here, man? No.
My parents are in New Jersey. I grew up out there, and my tech career slowly brought me further and further southwest to where so now I reside in Arizona and California.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So what do you enjoy most about working in real estate?
And it's just, it's a lot of fun. It's crazy. It's hectic. I mean, I have been on the phone discussing deals after midnight. I've been on the phone discussing deals at 7 a.m. But at the end of the day, you do make a difference, right? On the listing side, if I can get my seller X amount of dollars more, that's what another agent wouldn't have gotten them. And you guys contribute to that with your marketing tools. I mean, your video, your photography, your Matterport, et cetera, that helps a lot. A buyer getting their first home, moving from a cramped apartment to a nice, spacious house, they're happy. I mean, they're thankful for that scenario. When you win a bidding war for somebody because you had them write in X or Y into the contract, they're really appreciative. So at the end of the day, it's a lot of fun, and you do get to make a difference.
Right. And also, why do people ultimately choose to work with the Sirkar Group? What is it that makes you guys different than just another real estate agent down the street?
Well, I mean, as you know, as your listeners know, there's a lot of licensed real estate agents out there. But anytime you go to the licensing class, right, 80-90% of the new realtors will not renew their license within a year or two. So the license doesn't mean you're going to excel in the business, right? Obviously, there's a lot of marketing, a lot of advertising involved to get people in the door, to speak with me, to speak with us. At the end of the day, a lot of it is a referral business. And why do I get the referral business? That's your question, and this is my long-winded answer.
See, that would have been my follow-up question.
The referral business, I mean, you have to treat people the way you would like to be treated, right? If somebody walks in and I'm trying to sell them a used Dodge, that doesn't work. The used car salesman trick, that's played out. That was a long time ago. Ultimately, it's product knowledge. It's customer service. It's customer service. It's customer service. So Listen to what the buyer particularly wants. Listen to what the seller wants, what they need. Listen. Once you've figured that out, obviously we know certain tips, certain tricks, certain nuances that we can use to kind of adjust what it is they want or are expecting. But listen, provide service, be honest, be brutally honest. If people are unrealistic on one end or the other, you kind of have to gently put them in their place and tell them what they really need to expect.
Right. So when it comes to client acquisition and client retention, like you talked about referrals, and obviously the high level of service goes with that, because in order to get referrals, you have to have delivered a good experience to the client initially. What do you guys do, and how do you guys stay in contact with your client base?
Sure. There's a few different types of things that I do, and I'll touch on them. I actually have some training programs that I do within the brokerages for brand new agents, and these are the tools we touch on. Number one is email marketing. I've got an e-blast that goes out to over 10,000 people, throughout the whole country. You never know when somebody's going to be moving to California, moving to Arizona, et cetera. So the e-blast I send out once a month, and I've been doing that for the better part of a decade. I tie in with that a few other things, right? I do some Facebook marketing, some paid targeted Facebook advertising. My friends complain, how come we keep seeing you in our news feed? Why is that? And they don't even like the picture of me that's on there, right? So I get a lot of complaints. But I do the Facebook marketing. In select locations, I do have some bus stop signs. People going to work, they see me every day, for better or for worse. Some postcards here and there, and just a lot of interaction with people on Facebook, posts, some LinkedIn interactions, etc. Just connecting with people, staying in touch. I do host some events every so often, whether it be a cultural event, a business networking event, etc. And I do some of those in Southern California. I do some of those here. It's a nice way to, mix and mingle. I get people who have, they maybe met me once 5 years ago, 8 years ago, but they keep getting my emails. They keep seeing me on Facebook, and they're like, oh, it's good to really connect and talk to you at one of these events. So it's not just electronic media. Sometimes the in-person really matters, as you know.
Right. Absolutely. So what are you finding? Because obviously one of the biggest reasons why a seller hires an agent is to get more exposure on their house. And like you mentioned, Facebook and different mediums that help get exposure. What are you seeing out there that helps to sell homes faster when you're listing them?
Oh, you guys. He didn't pay me to say that. It's you guys. I have literally sold homes that have had multiple offers in the first week. This is before the market was so crazy, because of the photography and videography that you guys do. I mean, there's the saying, putting lipstick on a pig. You guys have the best lipstick around. And the pigs look amazing after you guys are done with it. Once you get the people in the door, 8 or 9 out of 10 may not want that house. But there's that one buyer who wouldn't have come to look at it without your killer pictures or without your killer videography or what have you. So once we have a listing, even before we have a listing, we talk to the clients, we talk to them about the technology we use to market their home. Killer photos for our higher end homes, killer videos, videos from above, Matterport. We talk about our syndication, where their listings will show up on every single website imaginable, over 300 websites, and just marketing like crazy.
Mm-hmm. And it sounds like you guys are involved with a lot of like lead generation and staying in front of people. What are you finding if a newer real estate agent is watching this and they're kind of getting into the business? And what advice would you give them? Where would you say they start to be able to get solid leads?
Sure. This is stuff that I've repeated many a time. I've got people in my training program that I give this advice to and this coaching to. You start with your sphere. I mean, it's much easier to start with your sphere, coworkers, former coworkers, family, friends, from your church, from your networking organization. Get in front of these people, become the expert in their eyes. How do you become the expert in their eyes? Of course, we talked about the email, the Facebook, et cetera, et cetera. I've looked at a lot of studies. Typically, from the studies I've seen, people consider you the expert in a given topic once you have touched them with your face, not literally, about 7 or 8 times. So the first time you send an email blast, whatever. But if they keep seeing you month after month, at some point, oh, that's my real estate guy or gal, whatever the case might be.
Yeah, and like you have a pretty big, you said 10,000 person email list.
It's like 12,000.
And you've been doing it for over a decade. And I think that may be something that realtors may struggle with, is having effective emails. After having done email blasts for so long, what are you finding that is getting some things whenever you're emailing out that gets attention of the consumer?
I say don't email the fluff. There are certain articles you can link, and like the best way to landscape your front yard with petunias or something like that. I mean, that's fine and dandy, but people care about 2 things. They care about what's going on in the market, and they want potentially good deals. So I send out very relevant articles, statistics, market updates to people. And then sometimes I send out listings, steals, and deals, so they can get an idea of, hey, the last email he sent was saying the market is doing this, there's this much inventory, they're selling this fast, et cetera, but I don't know what he's talking about. Then the next one I'll send the next month is an example of listings in every submarket. So what's going on in Chandler by this company? What's going on in Irvine, California by that company? What's going on in San Diego? This is a typical house there. This is a typical house here, et cetera. So just have to have everybody really in tune with what's going on.
So do you have everything kind of segmented out? Because obviously that's a pretty wide audience when you're servicing California and Arizona. So if I'm here in Mesa, Arizona, but then you're emailing me listings of California, it's not really relevant. So are you? How do you have that? How do you manage that? Because that's
actually
not easy.
A great question, and I've struggled with that issue myself. And at the moment, it's not segregated, simply for the fact that you're in Mesa,
sure,
but you may have a brother or a sister or a friend who's sitting in LA or is sitting in Irvine or somewhere else that needs my services.
Yeah, that's true.
I actually end up with a few people. This is where servicing both states really helps, that are moving from one to another. And they really appreciate being able to work with one person for all their paperwork and negotiations on both sides of their move.
Sure. I think that's a good point, because there are a lot of people that are moving from California to Arizona, because really it's not that far from here, and it's relatively close. You can go visit on a weekend. So whenever you go over there, are you usually just taking the 10, or do you fly out? Or
I would say, I don't know, 2/3 of the time I fly.
Yeah.
I'm really good friends with those folks at American Airlines and Southwest. But sometimes I do drive as well. I'll take the 10 if I'm driving into LA.
Get a self-driving Tesla, man.
That's the next step. That's the next step. Sometimes I'll take the 8 into San Diego, whatever the case might be. But the advice to all the humans out there, if you're going to drive, don't do it during the California rush hour.
Oh my gosh.
So when I do drive, it's at nighttime.
All right. Well, that's some good advice for
Absolutely.
anytime you commute. It seems like even if I'm rolling into California on a weekend, it's still pretty busy. I'm like, goodness gracious.
There's
so
always
so the trick
traffic.
is at night, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Kaushik, it was a pleasure having you on the show. If somebody is in the California or Arizona markets and they're looking to buy or sell a property, how do people get a hold of you?
Well, they can give me a call, 480-600-2808, or if they want to check me out and do some more research, they can go to my website, www.thesirkargroup.com.
Awesome. So go to thesirkargroup.com, and thanks for joining me on this episode, and we will see you guys on the next episode.